Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun!
In the soft morning glow, a familiar melody blared, piercing the silence for the third and final time. Henry Mitchell, a senior analyst at Cooper Technologies, stirred, his fingers groggily reaching for the offending sound. The routine awaited him, an unvarying dance. As the water steamed, he stepped into the shower, allowing the hot needles to rouse his senses. Navy blue suit, the day's armor, was laid out the night before, accompanied by the tie, a sartorial expression of his ever-shifting moods. His blonde hair, still damp, was coaxed into place, every strand coerced into submission by his familiar touch. Fatigue rimmed the brown irises that glared determinedly back at him as he stared into the bathroom mirror. At 32, Henry's existence was a choreographed symphony, work orchestrating his days. A rehearsal for the day ahead, the name badge clipped perfectly to the suit jacket pocket, everything in its place. The drive to Cooper Technologies took exactly 22 minutes in moderate traffic. Parking in the same spot, third row from the entrance, walking through the same doors, greeting the same receptionist. "Morning, Patricia." "Morning, Henry. Mr. Cooper wants to see you first thing." A ripple of concern. Direct summons from the CEO rarely meant good news. Cooper Technologies wasn't struggling. Quite the opposite. The company had doubled its market share in the past year, and Henry's marketing strategies had played no small part in that success. The elevator journey to the top floor felt longer than usual. Maxwell Cooper's office occupied the corner space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city skyline. His secretary waved Henry straight through. "He's expecting you." Maxwell Cooper stood with his back to the door, gazing out at the view. A tall man in his 50s with salt and pepper hair and the build of someone who made time for the gym despite a busy schedule. "Henry, come in." He turned, gesturing to the chairs by his desk. "Coffee?" "No, thank you, sir. Had my quota already." Cooper nodded, settling into his leather chair. "I'll get right to it. Your quarterly results are impressive. The board is pleased." Relief flowed through tense shoulders. "Thank you, sir. But that's not why I asked you here." Cooper's expression shifted, professional composure giving way to something more personal. "This is somewhat unorthodox." The silence stretched uncomfortably. "Sir?" Cooper sighed, rubbing his temples. "You've been with the company 5 years now. I consider myself a good judge of character, and you've always struck me as not just competent, but decent." "I appreciate that, sir." "My daughter, Valeria." Cooper paused, searching for words. "She lost her mother 3 years ago. Cancer. Brutal thing to watch, especially for a young woman." "I'm very sorry, sir." The conversation had veered into unexpected territory. "She's 28 now. Brilliant. Got her master's in art history. But since her mother's passing, she's become increasingly isolated. Throws herself into work at the museum. Comes home. Repeats. No friends, no social life." Cooper leaned forward. "I'm worried about her." Henry nodded sympathetically, unsure where this was heading. "Yesterday, I mentioned you in passing, how you'd helped organize that charity auction last spring. She seemed interested when I described your work. Then she asked if you were married, had family." An awkward silence fell. "I told her you weren't married, but mentioned you had a sister." Henry blinked. "Sir, I don't have—" I know. Cooper waved dismissively. I got confused with Richardson in accounting, but then Valeria lit up, first time in months, asking about your sister, whether she might be around Valeria's age. The pieces started falling into place, and Henry felt a knot forming in his stomach. Sir, are you asking me to... I thought perhaps your sister might be willing to meet Valeria. Just coffee, nothing more. She needs a friend, Henry. Someone outside her father's social circle. Henry sat frozen. The ethical response was clear. Correct the misunderstanding. Apologize for the confusion. Yet the desperate hope in his boss's eyes made the words stick in his throat.
My daughter... she's struggling. More than she lets on. I've tried everything. Therapists, support groups. She attends once. Never returns.
The silence stretched between them, heavy with expectation.
So, what do you say? Would your sister be willing to meet Valeria? Just once?
A critical moment. The right answer versus the kind one. I'll talk to her, sir. See what she says. Cooper's face brightened immediately. Excellent. Truly appreciate it, Henry. No pressure, of course. If she's not comfortable, I understand. The rest of the meeting passed in a blur of logistics. Valeria worked at the Metropolitan Museum, liked quiet cafes, enjoyed yoga. Henry nodded, mentally calculating how deep this hole might become. Back at his desk, the reality of what had just happened sank in. He had essentially promised to produce a sister who didn't exist. For what? To please his boss? To help a woman he'd never met? The day dragged on with the problem circling in his mind. By evening, 3 options had crystallized. Come clean to Cooper, invent an excuse why his sister couldn't meet Valeria, or... The third option seemed absurd, yet it remained, persistent and increasingly detailed. At home that evening, Henry paced his apartment, phone in hand, finally making a call. Charlotte? It's Henry. I need a favor. A strange one. Charlotte had dated Henry for 8 months, 2 years ago. They'd parted amicably when she took a job across the country, maintaining sporadic but friendly contact since. Depends on the strange, Mitchell. Last time you asked for a small favor, I ended up with a sprained ankle and a police warning. Nothing like that. I need to... borrow some things. Silence on the line. What kinds of things? Clothes. Women's clothes. A longer silence. Henry Mitchell, if this is some kind of kink revelation, I'm supportive, but not your personal shopper. No! God, no! The explanation tumbled out. Cooper, Valeria, the non-existent sister. Charlotte's laughter echoed through the phone. You're going to pretend to be your own sister? For your boss's daughter? That's either the sweetest or creepiest thing I've ever heard. When you put it that way, relax. I still have some things in storage there I haven't shipped yet. The keys with the super. Take whatever fits. But, Mitchell? Yeah? You're going to need more than clothes. Call me back when you get them. You'll need a crash course. The next day, a Saturday, Henry stood in Charlotte's storage unit staring at 3 boxes labeled clothes. Inside, he found an array of options. Dresses, blouses, skirts, even shoes that might fit his relatively narrow feet. After much deliberation, he selected items that seemed most sisterly. A lavender blouse with subtle detailing, a white skirt that fell just below the knee, low heels in black patent leather. The third box revealed the final piece, a blonde wig on a styrofoam head, similar to his natural color, but flowing past the shoulders in soft waves. Charlotte wore a wig? He muttered, confused. A text message buzzed. Found it. The blonde one was for a Halloween costume. Never used it. Should match your coloring. Back in his apartment, the items laid across his bed looked like evidence from a crime scene. This was madness. Yet the clock ticked toward Monday when Cooper would expect an answer. The mirror in his bedroom was tall enough to show his full reflection. Navy slacks and a button-down shirt. His weekend uniform. With a deep breath, he changed into the lavender blouse and white skirt. The reflection startled him, not because it looked ridiculous, but because it didn't. The blouse hung awkwardly on his frame, and the skirt's waistband gaped. But the overall effect wasn't as jarring as expected. The wig came next, requiring several attempts before sitting naturally. The transformation was startling. The same face framed differently created an entirely new person. Henry stared at his reflection, trying to see her.
Helena,
he said quietly. Same initials. Easy to remember. The name felt right somehow. Charlotte's video call came through precisely at the arranged time. Her eyes widened.
Well, hello there. Turn around. Let me see.
Henry obliged, feeling self-conscious.
Not terrible for a first attempt. The blouse needs a little help. You don't have the right bra. And your walk.
She laughed as Henry demonstrated a few steps. Less John Wayne, more fluid. Smaller steps. The impromptu lesson continued for an hour. How to sit, how to modulate his voice, how to apply basic makeup Charlotte had instructed him to purchase.
You're not trying to win a beauty pageant. You're being your sister. Natural, low-key, but put together.
By Sunday evening, Helena could pass a casual inspection. The voice remained challenging, not attempting falsetto, but softening his natural tone. The makeup subtle but effective in smoothing masculine features. The walk practice had left his calves oddly sore. Monday arrived with knots in his stomach. Cooper appeared at his office door around noon.
Any word from your sister?
The moment of truth. She'd be happy to meet Valeria. Perhaps coffee this weekend? Cooper beamed. Wonderful! I'll let Valeria know. She's quite excited. The die was cast. Saturday arrived with crisp autumn sunshine, and Henry's nerves frayed to breaking. He'd arranged to meet Valeria at a quiet cafe 10 miles from his apartment, far from any colleagues or acquaintances. Dressed carefully as Helena, the lavender blouse now properly fitted with undergarments purchased online, the white skirt, minimal makeup, and the blonde wig styled as Charlotte had directed, Henry practiced his lines one final time. Hi, I'm Helena. So nice to meet you. The cafe was half empty when Helena arrived, selecting a corner table with good visibility of the entrance. Every new customer triggered a spike of adrenaline. Then she appeared, unmistakably Cooper's daughter, with the same strong jawline and determined walk. Valeria spotted her immediately, moving toward the table with purpose. Taller than expected, with dark hair pulled back in a practical ponytail, wearing a simple gray dress that spoke of careful selection rather than fashion consciousness. Helena? I'm Valeria Cooper. The voice was steady, maybe rehearsed. A handshake offered with studied casualness. Lovely to meet you, Valeria. Please, sit down. The first 15 minutes were agonizing. Stilted conversation about the weather, the cafe's offerings, how they both knew Maxwell Cooper. Valeria perched at the edge of her chair, as if ready to flee at any moment. My father means well, she finally said, stirring her tea methodically. But his matchmaking attempts, even for friendships, are transparent. Helena felt a flush creeping up her neck.
He cares about you. That's apparent. He worries too much. I'm fine. Are you? The question slipped out before Helena could consider it. Valeria looked up sharply, studying Helena's face. Most people don't challenge that statement. I'm not most people. A genuine response, whether as Henry or Helena. Something changed in Valeria's posture, a subtle relaxation. No, I suppose you're not. Your brother speaks highly of you. Henry exaggerates. Always has. The strange sensation of talking about herself in the third person. He said you've been away. Traveling? The cover story. Yes, Europe mostly. Needed some perspective. Valeria nodded, understanding crossing her features. That's why I immerse myself in art history. Other people's perspectives through the centuries. The conversation shifted, becoming increasingly genuine. Valeria's passion for Renaissance painting, Helena's invented but carefully researched interest in modern dance, their shared appreciation for quiet evenings with good books. 2 hours passed before either noticed. When Valeria checked her watch, surprise registered on her face. I should go. I've kept you much longer than intended. Not at all. This was nice. An awkward pause followed, both uncertain how to proceed. There's a yoga class I attend Tuesday evenings, Valeria offered tentatively. Very low-key, beginner's welcome. If you'd be interested. A second meeting, the deception extending. Every instinct said to decline politely, end things here. I'd like that very much. They exchanged numbers, Helena's being a new prepaid phone purchased specifically for this charade. Walking back to the car, Helena felt conflicting emotions. Guilt at the deception, certainly, but also something unexpected, a sense of having made a genuine connection. The yoga class presented new challenges. Workout clothes, physical activity in disguise. Helena arrived early, wearing newly purchased pastel leggings and a loose-fitting top over a sports bra, the blonde wig secured as firmly as possible. Valeria arrived moments later, face lighting up when she spotted Helena. You came! I half expected you to find an excuse. I keep my commitments. A truth, at least. The class was indeed beginner-friendly, though Helena struggled with both the poses and maintaining her disguise. The instructor, a serene woman named Monica, offered gentle corrections. By the final relaxation pose, Helena lay on her mat, exhausted but strangely peaceful. Same time next week? Valeria asked as they rolled up their mats. Wouldn't miss it. And so it began. A friendship built on false pretenses but increasingly genuine connection. Coffee after yoga became dinner once a week. Texts throughout the day. Museum visits where Valeria shared her extensive knowledge, lighting up with enthusiasm. At work, Henry maintained professionalism, though Cooper occasionally asked how his sister and Valeria were getting along. They've become quite good friends, sir. I think it's been positive for both of them. Cooper's relief was palpable. Valeria seems happier than I've seen her in years. Your sister must be remarkable. The guilt twisted deeper. 3 months into the deception, Helena had become as real to Henry as his own identity. The clothes no longer felt like a costume, but simply another wardrobe. The voice came naturally, the mannerisms unconscious. Charlotte noticed during their periodic check-in calls. You're different, Mitchell. Even when you're being yourself. Am I? You move differently. Speak differently. It's subtle, but it's there. Henry hadn't recognized the changes, but looking back, They were undeniable. The sharp edges of his personality had softened. His apartment now contained touches that weren't there before. Throw pillows, scented candles, framed art Valeria had recommended.
Is that bad?
He asked Charlotte. Not bad. Just interesting. You seem, I don't know, more at peace? The observation lingered long after they hung up. 4 months in, during their weekly dinner, Valeria asked the question Helena had been dreading. Why don't you ever talk about your childhood? You and Henry growing up together? Helena's fork paused midway to her mouth. It's complicated. Family always is. We weren't always close. Different interests, different friends. Valeria watched Helena's face carefully. But you're close now? Getting there. The truth, in its way. He never mentions you at work. Dad says he's very private. Helena set down her fork, heart pounding.
Valeria, I need to tell you something.
The moment stretched, fraught with potential consequences. I haven't been entirely honest about my past. Valeria's expression remained open, waiting. The traveling, the time away. I was going through some significant personal changes, discovering who I really am. Not the full truth, but not entirely a lie either. Understanding dawned in Valeria's eyes. Oh, Helena, is that why you seemed nervous when we first met? Were you worried how I'd react? The misunderstanding was clear, but Helena didn't correct it. Yes, exactly that. Valeria reached across the table, squeezing Helena's hand. Thank you for trusting me. It doesn't change anything about our friendship. If anything, I admire your courage even more. The tight knot in Helena's chest both loosened and tightened simultaneously. The deception deepened, but so did the friendship. 5 months into this double life, Henry sat in his apartment staring at his computer screen. Open browser tabs displayed information on hormone therapy, legal name changes, gender transition resources. The search history stretched back weeks. This had started as a favor, evolved into a friendship, and now it felt like uncovering a truth long buried. Helena wasn't simply a character he played. She was a part of him that had always existed, waiting for permission to emerge. The next day, Henry scheduled an appointment with a specialist recommended in his research. The initial consultation was primarily informational. Options, timelines, expectations. He left with resources, references for therapists, and a profound sense of beginning rather than ending. Telling Cooper the truth became increasingly necessary, but remained the most difficult conversation to initiate. How to explain that his marketing analyst was transitioning to female and was, in fact, the same person his daughter had befriended. The opportunity arrived unexpectedly during a late evening at the office. Cooper stopped by Henry's desk on his way out.
Working late again, Mitchell? Dedication like yours is rare.
Thank you, sir. Just finishing some projections. Cooper lingered, seemingly wanting to say more.
My daughter asked about you recently. Wanted to know more about your work. She's never shown interest in my employees before.
Henry's mouth went dry.
Sir, I need to discuss something important with you. In private, when you have time.
Cooper studied him for a moment.
No time like the present. Come up to my office.
The walk to the elevator felt like a march to judgment. Cooper's office remained illuminated only by desk lamps, the city lights providing a glittering backdrop through the windows.
What's on your mind, Henry?
The rehearsed speech evaporated. In its place, raw truth. Sir, I don't have a sister named Helena. Cooper's brow furrowed. I don't understand.
When you asked me about my sister meeting Valeria, I should have corrected you immediately. I don't have any siblings. But you seemed so hopeful, so concerned about your daughter.
Realization dawned slowly across Cooper's features.
Are you saying?
Helena is me, sir. I've been pretending. At first, it was just to help Valeria have a friend, but it's become more than that. Cooper sank into his chair, expression unreadable. You've been pretending to be a woman to befriend my daughter for 5 months? Put that way, it sounded predatory. Henry rushed to explain. It's not what it seems. Yes, it started as deception, and I'm deeply sorry for that. But something unexpected happened. Being Helena, it felt right. More right than being Henry ever has. Cooper remained silent, processing. I've started hormone therapy, sir. I'm transitioning. Helena isn't a disguise anymore. She's who I'm becoming. The silence stretched unbearably. Does Valeria know any of this? Not the full truth, no. She knows Helena is transgender, but she doesn't know about the connection to you, or that Henry and Helena are the same person. Cooper leaned back, fingers steepled.
You understand how this appears. Completely. And you have every right to be angry, disturbed, even to fire me. But I need you to know that my friendship with Valeria is genuine. She's remarkable, intelligent, compassionate, fascinating. And she's helped me find myself as much as I've helped her emerge from isolation.
Cooper stood abruptly, pacing to the window.
This is a lot to process, Henry. I understand, sir. What are your intentions regarding my daughter? To be the friend she deserves. Eventually to tell her the complete truth and hope she can forgive the deception.
Cooper turned, studying Henry's face carefully.
And if she can't?
The possibility cut deep.
Then I'll respect her decision and stay away.
Cooper nodded slowly.
I need time to think about this. All of it. Of course, sir. For now, nothing changes at work. Your position is secure. As for the rest, I'll let you know.
It wasn't forgiveness or acceptance, but it wasn't immediate termination either. Henry left, feeling both relieved and terrified. 2 more weeks passed without Cooper mentioning their conversation. Work continued normally. Helena and Valeria's friendship deepened with museum visits, yoga classes, and dinner at Valeria's apartment, where she cooked elaborate Italian meals from her mother's recipes. The hormone therapy began showing subtle effects: skin softening, emotional shifts, the beginning of breast development that required careful binding at work. Henry maintained his male presentation professionally, but the effort grew increasingly uncomfortable. At the 6-month mark of their friendship, Valeria texted Helena. Dad's annual company Christmas party is next weekend. He said I could bring a guest. Would you come with me? Save me from boring corporate small talk? The request sparked panic. The company party meant being in the same room as both Cooper's and all of Henry's colleagues, simultaneously as Henry and Helena. Before Helena could formulate a response, another message came through. Unless it would be uncomfortable for you, I know these events can be stuffy and traditional. The concern in Valeria's message made the decision clear. I'd love to come. What's the dress code? Formal. I'm wearing burgundy. We could coordinate if you want. The company Christmas party had always been an elegant affair held at the Grand Hotel downtown. Henry had attended 5 times previously, always in the same classic black suit with varying ties. This year would be different. Charlotte proved invaluable once again, helping select a floor-length emerald evening gown online. Green will complement her burgundy without matching too obviously, plus it works with your coloring. The dress arrived 3 days before the event, requiring minor alterations to accommodate Helena's frame. The hormone therapy had created subtle but meaningful changes, but proper undergarments remained essential. Another development had rendered the blonde wig unnecessary. Henry's natural hair had grown out over 6 months, now falling just below his ears, in a style that could read as either a fashionable men's cut or a short women's style. Professionally styled for the party, it would complete Helena's look without artifice. Cooper requested a meeting the day before the party. Henry arrived at his office expecting the worst.
Henry, or do you prefer Helena now?
Helena, when possible, though I understand that's complicated in the workplace at present. Cooper nodded. Valeria tells me she's invited you to the Christmas party. Yes, sir. I was going to speak with you about that.
It's why I called you in. You understand this creates a unique situation.
I do. If you'd prefer I decline.
That's not what I'm saying. Cooper's expression softened slightly.
My daughter hasn't attended this party since her mother died. Hasn't wanted to. The fact that she's coming and bringing you suggests how important your friendship has become.
Hope flickered cautiously. I have watched Valeria these past months. She's emerging from grief, engaging with life again. Whatever my personal feelings about how this began, I cannot deny the positive impact. Relief washed through Helena.
Thank you for understanding, sir. I'm not finished. The party presents practical challenges. You can't be both Henry and Helena simultaneously. The obvious solution hung between them. You're suggesting I attend solely as Helena? Yes, it would mean explaining your transition to the company eventually, but we have strong inclusion policies for a reason. Your work speaks for itself, regardless of your gender expression. The offer was more than generous. It was life-changing. Permission to be Helena fully, without compartmentalizing her existence.
This means everything, sir. Thank you.
Cooper held up a cautioning hand.
2 conditions. First, you tell Valeria the complete truth within the next month. I won't have my daughter's trust in you built on partial truths indefinitely.
Absolutely. I've been trying to find the right moment.
Second, I expect the same excellence in your work during and after your transition. No special treatment, positive or negative.
I wouldn't want it any other way. Cooper extended his hand.
Then we have an understanding. I'll see you, and only you, as Helena, at the party tomorrow.
The handshake felt like crossing a threshold. The evening of the party arrived with flurries of snow adding to the seasonal atmosphere. Helena spent hours preparing, styling her now naturally growing blonde hair, applying makeup with techniques perfected over months, and finally slipping into the emerald gown that draped perfectly over her evolving figure. The reflection in the mirror showed a woman. Not a disguise or performance, but her authentic self emerging. Valeria had arranged to meet at the hotel lobby. Stepping through the grand entrance in heels that added 3 inches to her height, Helena scanned the space nervously until she spotted Valeria in her promised burgundy dress, looking elegant and confident. Their eyes met across the marble expanse. Valeria's smile bloomed slowly, appreciatively, as she moved forward.
Helena, you look absolutely stunning.
As do you. That color is perfect on you. They embraced naturally, the awkwardness of their first meeting long forgotten. Valeria linked their arms, leading toward the ballroom. Fair warning, Dad's colleagues can be intense. If anyone makes you uncomfortable, just say the word, and we'll escape to the terrace.
I appreciate that, but I'll be fine.
More confident than she felt. The ballroom glittered with tasteful decorations, live music from a small orchestra filling the space. Colleagues Henry had known for years milled about in formal attire, unrecognizable in some cases outside their usual professional presentation. Cooper spotted them immediately, making his way through the crowd. His expression revealed nothing as he approached.
Valeria, darling, and Helena, welcome to Cooper Technologies' annual celebration. I'm so pleased you could join us.
The warm greeting, devoid of any hint at their complicated history, put Helena at ease.
The pleasure is mine, Mr. Cooper. Your company certainly knows how to celebrate in style. Please, call me Maxwell. Any friend of Valeria's has earned that right.
The evening unfolded like a dream. Introductions to people Helena already knew professionally, dancing to orchestra music, champagne sipped carefully to maintain composure. Through it all, Valeria remained close, proudly introducing her friend to everyone they encountered. This is Helena Mitchell, my best friend. The words warmed Helena each time they were spoken. Best friend. The simple truth behind the complicated journey. Midway through the evening, Valeria guided Helena to a quiet corner. There's something I need to tell you. Fear flickered briefly. Had Cooper revealed the truth, despite their agreement?
What is it?
Valeria took a deep breath.
I know who you are.
Who you were. The room seemed to tilt momentarily. You know? That you're Henry's... Well, that you were Henry. Dad didn't tell me. I figured it out myself months ago. The similarities, the convenient absence of both of you in the same place, certain mannerisms you share. Helena felt lightheaded. Why didn't you say anything? I was waiting for you to tell me when you were ready. I understood you might have needed time. You're not angry about the deception? Valeria considered this. I was, briefly, when I first realized. But then I thought about our friendship, how real it's been, how much we've helped each other heal and grow. That's what mattered in the end. Tears threatened to ruin carefully applied mascara. I was going to tell you. This month, in fact. Your father insisted, but I wanted to anyway. Dad knows too. Valeria laughed softly. Of course he does. Nothing gets past him. He's been surprisingly supportive. Not so surprising to me. My mother taught him compassion was the greatest strength a person could possess. Valeria squeezed Helena's hand. Are you relieved I know? No more secrets between us? Incredibly relieved, though slightly terrified about what comes next. What comes next is more of the same. Friendship, honesty, bad movies on rainy Sundays, complaining about your boss who happens to be my father. The orchestra began a new song, something slow and elegant. Would you dance with me, Helena, as friends who know each other completely now? The dance floor wasn't crowded, a dozen couples moving in practiced patterns. Helena hesitated only briefly before taking Valeria's offered hand. I'd be honored. They moved together among the other dancers, finding an easy rhythm. Across the room, Cooper watched with an expression that had softened considerably from their first difficult conversation. What happens at work now? Valeria asked quietly as they danced. Will you still be Henry there? Helena shook her head, blonde hair catching the light. No more compartmentalizing. Your father has agreed I can complete my transition openly, It won't be easy, but it will be honest. Honesty suits you. Green suits you too, by the way. Thank you for everything, Valeria. For your friendship, your understanding, your forgiveness. The music swelled around them, other dancers moving in practiced patterns across the polished floor. No thanks needed. Just promise me something? Anything. Next year, we coordinate our dresses better. Burgundy and emerald clash terribly in photos. Helena laughed, the sound rising clear and true above the music. It's a promise. The snow fell steadily outside, transforming the city into something new and beautiful, much like the journey that had brought Helena to this moment, dancing in an emerald gown, fully herself for the first time, no longer playing a role but living her truth, with friendship and understanding surrounding her like the music that carried them across the floor.
Thanks for watching, my girlies! Be sure to check out Patreon for more!